What's up, basement listeners? That's right, it's Friday night and Barack Obama still won't release the UFO tapes. You know what that means. Time for another edition of the Dylan Joe Basement Podcast, Trapdoor.
It's a trap!
This week we're talking about our cool, complex, comforting, courageous compadres, canines. Where you at, dog? You're a dog. That's right, from Chow to Chihuahua, let's chomp into the charming details of why they call them man's best friend. It's not like that for no reason. So, where did our lovable, loyal allies come from? Well, unlike humans, their ancestors still exist on Earth today. Wolves. In fact, they're so genetically identical to them, they're almost the exact same animal. Picture two cars, the same make and model, and change the color of one of their license plates. It's that minute genetic difference that makes all the difference in the world between the vicious pack hunters of the wild and the lovable oaf that you live with that you leave alone with your newborn infant in their room. The gray wolf, called Canis lupus, has been around on planet Earth for 300,000 years. And as far as we can tell, Canis familiaris, the dog, has only been around for 25,000. Now, what could that be that shifted its evolution so quickly? Well, there's one species that's directly involved. And in fact, we become intertwined ever since. That is Homo sapien. Alright, that's enough Latin. I just wanted to get it all out of the way. You know I love that shit. You know? Back when humans made our debut on the scene, we were hunter-gatherers. Small tribes of people living in campsites. We were nomads, and we traveled to where the feast could be found. Wolves were our enemies. Predators that would tear humans limb from limb given the chance. But some packs of wolves realized this was a gold mine. Now, as humans normally do, even still today, we leave things behind. Extra food, carrion, and supplies around. And these wolves realized that it was better to follow these humans around than to try to hunt them down. These particular packs of wolves would go on to be the first dogs, as some of them realized it was better to work with humans than to try to hunt them. Now, like any new relationship, it was a little bumpy at first. Humans had their doggy issues, and wolves were cautiously disdainful towards humanity. They knew what we could do. We worked together as a pack to kill large prey. We were social animals, and we had more in common than both of us probably cared to admit. The call of the wild is a powerful thing, though, and many of these wolves could not resist the urge to fight aggressively against humans. But some of them were more docile, more forgiving of humanity. And as they moved closer and closer to the campfire, some humans realized these wolves weren't parasites, but allies. They became a sort of alarm system for humans. In the days before we had Ring doorbells, what's a better security guard than a pack of animals that could hear for miles and smell for days in the middle of the night? Any large predators coming by and threatening the tribe would be immediately alerted to by the wolves. So the ones that got along with humans were left alive, and the ones that looked to kill us were put down. And so this dance went on for hundreds of years. Wolves that were more docile and friendly towards humans were left alive and kept breeding. Those who were aggressive and violent towards humanity were killed or sent away. And a branch sprouted off of the evolutionary tree. For the first time on the history of the planet, evolution happened in the blink of an eye. It wasn't natural selection, it was human selection. And domestication of animals happened for the first time. Instead of living on this earth competing as adversaries, two species came together and thrived. And isn't that what we all want, really? Just come together. As time progressed, these early dogs became more and more suitable to living alongside humanity. Their fight or flight response diminished. They became more comfortable. They even developed enzymes to be able to digest plants, like humans. Humans were omnivorous, and wolves were completely carnivores, only eating meat, but these dogs became like us. And they ate like us. And they fucked like us. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. All right. We can't take credit for everything. That was definitely their idea first. But you gotta admit, that's a pretty great idea. Appreciate it, dogs. Like, get a little, whoo, my doggies out there. Thank you, dogs, for that one. Enough of that. They became capable and intelligent in just the way that humans like it. They could herd up domesticated animals. They could hunt alongside us and point to prey. In fact, pointing is a unique thing for dogs. They recognize that when humans extend their hand out and point at an object, that's where they direct their attention to, because they're so attentive to what we do. Most animals don't understand that whatsoever. Even a chimpanzee doesn't understand the concept of a human pointing. They will not recognize to look at the end of your finger, but dogs do. And yet the chasm between a Westie and a Weimaraner is a strange thing. They're all the same species. A Great Dane and a Chihuahua have more in common genetically than a husky and a wolf. They're the exact same thing. That slight genetic difference between each individual dog is even smaller than the difference between a dog and a wolf. For that reason, many scientists think that dogs, for a strange reason, have some sort of genetic tag on them that makes them more malleable, more flexible like clay, to be able to change drastically between each dog that was ever born. But that's up for debate, because it's the exact same animal. Scooby-Doo and the Taco Bell dog are the same species. Balto and what's a famous wolf? Are there famous wolves? I guess Balto is like, I don't know, he's like the Barack Obama of wolves, you know? He's the first wolf, you know, but he's, you know, he's not all wolf, you know what I mean? He saved kids from diphtheria. He's a fucking hero. But genes are intertwined in a confusing way that's not so intuitive. Over the past couple hundred years, humans have bred dogs to look and act a way that we wanted them to. From a pug to an Afghan hound, humans have chosen and bred selectively the ways they wanted dogs to appear and act. But just the very act of making a dog more docile actually changes the way they look, whether you like it or not. What the fuck is that about? The best example of this is in Russia in the 1960s. It was called the Silver Fox Experiment. Well, not that kind of silver fox, but I'll put my number down in the comments section in case you want to, you know, I'm so lonely. The scientist Dmitry Belyayev wanted to test out this theory, Darwin's idea of natural selection and the human selection of dogs over thousands of years compressed into his lifetime. He took the wild species of the Russian fox and did the same thing on a smaller scale. Keep the ones that are docile and friendly towards humans and breed them. The ones that are aggressive and scared, release them. And over only 3 generations, he saw the results pan out in real time. Not only did these foxes become more friendly to humans, like a pet, the color of their fur changed to a black and white hue, and their ears became floppy. He was breeding the foxes to become domesticated, but incidentally arrived the cuteness. This experiment suggested that not only could these canines be bred to be more friendly towards humans over generations, but that their actual outward appearance was changing along with that. They weren't trying to pick foxes that looked a certain way. They just wanted them to become less and less aggressive. And as people came to visit his colony of foxes, they all had the same thing to say. They're like dogs. They're acting like domesticated pet animals, but they weren't dogs at all. They were foxes. And only after 20 years, the entire colony was domesticated foxes with different colored fur, floppy ears, and, they were so cute. Over the past couple hundred years, every single breed of dog you've ever heard of was created. Bloodhounds to sniff down prey, terriers to hunt down rodents, Saint Bernards to save lives of people trapped in an avalanche, and Chihuahuas to... well, I don't know what they bred Chihuahuas for, but they fucking suck. But unlike the past 100 or so years of us breeding specific dogs to do specific tasks, it seems that the very act of making a mammal more suitable towards humans changes their outward appearance. It makes us like them more. They're more adorable. Got those floppy ears. Some of those foxes in the colony started wagging their tails. They could even be held on a leash. Well, they didn't love it, but it takes time. All of evolution takes time. In fact, it takes thousands upon thousands of years. That's what makes dogs so unique. They flipped almost in a blink of an eye in a way that we don't know any other species ever has, or maybe ever will. Nature versus nurture, maybe it's just how they were raised. Another experiment was done in a similar fashion. You see, wolf pups are very similar to dogs. Floppy ears, soft fur, curly tail, playful disposition. They don't initially grow up vicious and wanting to fight and being fearful of the world around them. They learn through play, like so many mammals do. So scientists took a wolf pup and a dog pup and raised them together. For the first 3 months, they were almost the exact same animal. They would play fight together, they could learn, they would listen to commands. When they were called, they would come, sit, stay, I'll feed you, we can snuggle in bed, the whole nine. But as the wolf pup and the dog pup matured, that tree split in two, as it did 25,000 years ago. The dog pup kept being a doggo. Petted on the head, come here, let's wrestle with the bone, whatever. The wolf pup started to become more aggressive. It only wanted to tear all the toys apart, didn't want to play anymore. Didn't want to listen to commands. It only became more and more antisocial towards not only the other dog, but the humans who had raised it, fed it, kept it alive. A wolf is like every other animal on this planet. It must fight to survive and thrive in this world. It can't just lean on another species to coddle and take care of it. The wild is unforgiving, and its call must be heeded by all animals who deign to call this planet their home. That's what makes dogs so different. Unlike other animals who were bent to humanity's will by the whip and the promise of food, penned up in a cage like cattle and sheep, dogs grew up alongside us as our brothers and sisters. Dog is a man's best friend, and perhaps man should be dog's best friend as well. We at least owe them that much. This week we're going to talk about our cool, complex, comforting, colossal colostomy bag. You heard it here first, folks. We're talking about colonoscopy this week. Knight to E7, I'm wearing my chessboard camouflage today. You'll never take my king.